let's pretend that this is a serious conversation for a second. First of all, when have the Olympics ever been about views? And I'll wait.
The 2024 Paris Olympics women basketball roster is out, and you guys, Caitlin Clark is not on it. You guys already know this is going to spark a conversation, as Caitlin Clark has so many fan base. Many people who are pissed at the fact that Caitlin Clark did not make the cut. They are saying it's more like they don't understand what marketing is, because there's never been any player as interesting as Caitlin Clark in 28 years of wnba. While there are some people pissed at the fact that she did not make the list, there are some as well explaining why she did not make the list and how she's not better than anybody on the list. They know Caitlin has so many fans who spend to go watch her. Why didn't they include her in the roster? This has sparked so many conversations, you guys. It's all on my For You page. If you have been following since last week, there has been so many conversations about the wnba, and this particular one is going very viral. I have put together the clips of what those people are saying. Without wasting much time, let's get into what people have to say about Caitlin Clark being excluded from the roster.
I want for WNBA fans old and new to answer this question to me. Where in your mind did you think that Caitlin Clark was going to make it onto the Olympic roster for Paris this year, less than 2 months into her rookie season in the W? I need you guys to be ever so for all talking about it's like MJ not making it onto the Olympic team. Michael Jordan, please be serious. You know who deserves to be on the Olympic roster? Asia Ben deserves to be on the roster. You know it's another what? Brittany Griner, Diana, Kelsey, Alyssa, Kalia, Caitlin Clark making herself the Taylor Swift of the WNBA by talking about tuning out the noise. The noise is literally you being used as a narrative to be a white savior for the WNBA, while also your teammates and your coworkers in this league are being demonized just for being black women playing this way, that there is a literal race war brewing over a chick from Iowa. My God.
When I saw the list for who's on the Women's USA team for basketball, I expected that. And I knew with Caitlin not making it, people were going to be upset. But people's reasonings for being upset is like you guys have never watched an Olympics before. After watching what Gino said about her on a podcast where he basically said she's a good player, she's a good talent, but the media and everybody has made it impossible for her to have a rookie year where she could really thrive, and it's just going to take time for her to be the same player she was at Iowa in the WNBA. That should have been everybody's first sign that girl was not going to make that team. And for everybody saying that, oh, jersey sales would have gone up, more people would watch it on TV. Yes, that's probably true. What would the U.S. rather have? Gold medal in women's basketball or sell more jerseys? I think they would prefer the gold medal. The jerseys would be nice though. This is not the only USA team she could ever make. She can make it in 4 years. She can make it in 8 years. Like, this is not the end of the world. The WNBA is already this big. The USA team can only be so many girls. And I think that every girl deserves their roster spot. And like Caitlin says, it's just something to work for, and she can do it eventually. People need to relax. And if she would have made the team, she probably would have been on the bench for a lot of it. There's no way she would have been a starter. So imagine how the media would have been and how everybody would have been if she barely got any playing time. It's just safe to just not put the girl on the team at all and just wait for her time to come and she fully develop as a WNBA player. Like, I don't see the problem. Hopefully with the new popularity of the WNBA, the viewership for the Women's Olympics team will go up. But if it doesn't and they still win the gold, I'll be happy.
If you are upset that Caitlin Clark did not make the women's basketball Olympics roster, I'm going to say two things to you. I'm going to assume that, one, you really don't like basketball or really watch it, and two, that you only see Caitlin Clark as a mascot and not a basketball player. And some of y'all sound real silly how y'all speaking on USA Women's Basketball in the committee for their decision not to have Caitlin Clark on that roster. Y'all sound real silly, and y'all think y'all making sense, and you're not. Everybody's sitting on here saying, oh, the USA Women's Basketball Committee is dumb. They don't know what they're doing. Why would they not want Caitlin Clark there? Do they not want viewership? Do they not want people to go to Paris and watch the games? Do they not want people at home watching? She is the show. Bring her there. Are they stupid? It's marketing. It's this. It's that. But not once are y'all sitting there saying that she's better than all 12 of these women that made the roster. Not once have y'all got on here and said, well, actually, I would trade her out for so-and-so on this roster because she brings this on the court. Not once have y'all said that. Y'all are talking about viewership. Y'all are talking about autographs. Y'all are talking about everything else to parade her around Paris instead of saying, no, she is at that point where she can affect the game and impact the game for this Olympics roster and go out there and do her thing. Not once have y'all said that. And I actually think it is very disrespectful to her game and to her as a basketball player that that's all y'all are seeing her as a cash cow. Have her go to Paris. She's not barely going to play. Doesn't matter if she's on the bench 98% of the time because the roster is loaded. Just have her there. Have her there, have her walk around, sign autographs, see everyone, do the thing. That's how y'all are saying this. Y'all aren't sitting there saying, you know what, it is worth that she misses this Olympics. Let's give her time. She just got done playing collegiate basketball. She's in the WNBA. They have one of the toughest schedules. Let's let her just have an off season. Let's let her get acclimated. She's going to be on many Olympic rosters to come. But no. Y'all are not saying that. Y'all are sitting there trying to say that the Olympics Women's Basketball Committee is dumb because they don't want to use her as a mascot for USA Women's Basketball, which is about winning medals. If you're new here, USA Women's Basketball is one of the most dominant teams that you will see in the Olympics. They're about to win their 8th straight medal. Do you know the last time they lost a game in the Olympics? 1992. Do you hear me? The last time the USA Women's Basketball team lost a game in Olympic play was 1992. So yes, the USA Women's Basketball Committee made a decision based on basketball. Wow, shocker. Everyone uses the excuse, well, she's growing the game. Why would they not want her in Paris to continue growing the game? Would y'all rather her grow the game from the bench? Like, that's what I'm confused about. Growing the game is when she's on that basketball court doing what she does best. But y'all would rather sacrifice what she does as a basketball player just to have her on the bench in there, just for the sake of it all. Not that she can actually impact this Olympics game. Y'all are not saying that. Y'all are not saying that. And y'all don't see the problem in those narratives that y'all are creating. If you want to talk about some real snubs on this USA Women's Basketball team, yes, let's talk about that because that is talking and pertaining to actual basketball. I would love those conversations, but y'all are not having those type of conversations. You are looking at the USA Women's Basketball team as though they should be lucky and grateful that they should have added Caitlin Clark to this roster only for the sense of marketing and viewership, not understanding the history of USA Women's Olympic basketball. To understand better about USA Women's Basketball, I would tell you to go watch the 30 for 30 Dream On. Go watch that 30 for 30 because you will learn about the 96 USA Women's Basketball team that really set it on fire for women's basketball, especially in the W. A lot of W historians love to point to that 96 Olympics team and say that was the team that really put women's basketball on the map in a whole different way after that Olympic Games that they had going undefeated and then getting the gold medal. Like, that is what y'all need to go look at to understand the history of USA Women's Basketball. They're not sitting here appeasing what y'all think on social media and how y'all feel in the now about one player. Their goal has always been to get gold. Gold and nothing else. That is the standard for USA Women's Basketball. They are going to construct a roster to continue that tradition of getting gold. And I don't know what y'all are upset about. Before you sit here and say, well, nobody cared when they won in 96. They did care. They cared a lot, actually, very much so. They were on TV shows, Wheaties boxes, magazines. That's the same team you saw pop up on Martin and play them on the court and beat them. Yes, they were popping, all right? People were really into women's basketball, especially after that 96 women's basketball team because of how great they were and dominant in the Olympics. So that's just to put in perspective that USA Women's Basketball is not sitting here groveling for attention or viewership. They believe that when they win gold and do what they're supposed to do and be dominant, that comes with it. I get that there are a lot of new fans, but we have to start looking a little bit further out and not just in the now of what we're seeing, okay? You look at this USA Women's Olympic roster, there's a lot of storylines that you could talk about. How about talk about Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper and Sabrina Ionescu getting their first Olympic nod? Some of the top scorers in the W. Let's talk about that, hey, this might be the last Olympics for Diana Taurasi. Let's actually look forward to saying, hey, when Caitlin Clark is acclimated, where she's grown and evolved her game, had an offseason, got healthy, got rest, really worked on things, she's going to be a part of this Olympic history and this Olympic roster soon, very well, maybe in the next Olympics. Let's look that way instead of saying now, put her out there. Let's actually value her basketball game. Let's value that she's also a young basketball player. Give her time. Let's let her get some experience. But how about we support these women here? If you say you support women's basketball so much, support these 12 right here. Support them when they go to the Olympic Games. How about that? Don't be a person that's like, no, Caitlin, I'm not watching. Come on, then you really don't like basketball. You don't really care about the women's game. And that's another conversation for another day. But if you care about the women's game, you would care about these women as well that are going to go out there and compete for another gold medal. How about that? How about that be the conversation? But no, it's not. It's everything else but basketball or anything that really is uplifting this game. Like, come on now.
Let's pretend that this is a serious conversation for a second. First of all, when have the Olympics ever been about views? And I'll wait. I'll wait for the answer, and it's not going to come because they're putting it on TV regardless. Yeah, that's one. They're putting it on TV. They're putting it on that Peacock app regardless. They don't care who's watching. It's going on that damn TV. And here's my second point. If you were only ever going to watch the games because Caitlin Clark was going to be on the TV, you were never going to watch it to begin with. And so your non-participation has already been accounted for. And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. They don't care. They don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to be the one to break it to you. And people have already made this point. There's nobody on the roster that she's better than. It doesn't matter what stats you try to throw at the wall to make stick. There's nobody on this team that she would beat in a one-on-one. And that's just the truth of the matter. I think she's a talented girl, but it was never going to be that. And I actually think the real story here is the fact that so many people thought that it was going to happen. I think that's the more concerning point here. Because what rookie NBA player outside of LeBron would you send off to go secure you a gold medal? A lot of people like to act like watching or supporting women's sports is just absolute brutal torture for them. Like it's like waterboarding, and nobody's begging you to watch. You don't have to if you don't want to. I can promise you your non-participation has already been accounted for in many instances. And the other thing is if you're really like a fan of sports, you'll literally watch anything. I was at the Mexican restaurant the other day when the NBA finals were on, but they only had it on at the bar. And I wasn't about to sit there and strain my eyes trying to watch that. And they had steeplechase on. And I was like, well, girl, I'm sad. I surely did watch them steeplechase. And I watched the track and field events afterwards too. And I had a great time watching those women compete at the collegiate level. It's crazy how you can just sit back and shut up sometimes. And I think like a year ago, the Winter Olympics were on. And I surely did sit in front of the TV for many hours watching the women's national curling team. I don't even know the rules to curling, but I was watching. And it was actually quite riveting. And really, this is about to be a sneak diss. There's nothing wrong with having a favorite sport. But a lot of y'all like to say, oh, I'm a sports fan, but you only want to watch the sports you want to watch. That doesn't even make sense. Like, if you really enjoy sports, you can watch anybody talented go and get down, running track or swimming, playing basketball, playing water polo, ice skating, bobsledding.
Team USA, what are we doing? What are we doing? So we have the most popular athlete in the United States in Caitlin Clark. I mean, for the women, it's hands down. She's the most popular athlete in the United States. There's no debate. But now she's rivaling, I'm not saying skill-wise, so don't come at me, but she's rivaling a LeBron, a Steph Curry. You know, she's more popular than any baseball player you can name, soccer player that you can name, golfer. I mean, she's a top 5 popular athlete in the United States. She's definitely number 1 female athlete. So now we have the Olympics, in which we've never lost. We've always won gold because we are very talented, in basketball. So we have an opportunity to put our most popular athlete on a team that's going to win no matter what. And the committee decides to pass on that opportunity. What? Like, guys, it's about growing the sport, right? Is it about growing the sport? Yes or no? So why? I mean, I get, you want to talk. You guys are overthinking it. This is what this came down to. They're overthinking it, and she's not the best player, and I get all that. But like, sometimes you gotta just think big picture. Like, what's gonna help grow the sport? And I know she's gonna have more opportunities. 4 years from now, 8 years from now, God willing, 12 years. She's gonna play in at least 2, 3 other Olympics. So that's not the point. The point is, you guys have all this momentum. The wnba is starting to really go to that next level. And now you have another opportunity, the Olympics. And you're going to sideline your number one draw? Make it make sense to me. Don't talk to me about the skills and the track record, the resumes. All that doesn't matter. She's not there to help you win games, quite frankly, because y'all going to win games with or without her. Like, the last 3 people on the team aren't needed. Like, first 1 through 9, Team USA, we're good. We're going to win. So, to me, I'm choosing growing the sport over, filling the roster with the 12 best players, because it's not necessary. Totally missed opportunity here.
If you're trying to grow the game of women's basketball, you would not do this. You would not leave Caitlin Clark off of the Paris Olympic roster if you are trying to grow the sport.
You guys aren't this dumb. You're just not this dumb. There's no way you believe that the best thing for women's basketball, the best thing is to send an underqualified rookie point guard to the Olympics so that more half-assed new casual fans have an Olympics jersey to buy. You really think that's going to help? You don't. There's no one on that roster that doesn't belong on that roster. There are snubs that, people who could be on there, and Caitlin Clark's not it. The only 2 people that people could even muster an opinion on, Diana Taurasi, which isn't going to happen. She's one of the most experienced international basketball players alive, male or female, and is still one of the best 3-point shooters in the game, and a leader and a mentor, and doing amazing things for the young players on the Mercury. They're not leaving her off that team, just like they're not going to ever leave LeBron off of a team until he retires, right? And Chelsea Gray, who's one of the best competitors alive. You guys, she hasn't played this season because she's been hurt. Just like Kevin Durant's been dealing with injuries all the goddamn time. He's still on the men's team. Chelsea Gray's an insane competitor. She's such a more well-rounded, better basketball player than Caitlin Clark is right now. It's not even close. If she can play, if they expect that she'll be able to play, you do not leave her off that roster. And everybody else, not a chance. Obviously, there's only so many point guard spots. There's no one there to take off. That's how you grow basketball. You go to Paris and you win a goddamn gold medal. And all these women that are starting to know their names. If you didn't know them before, you're starting to know them now because you watch basketball, whether you watch it for Caitlin Clark or not. You watch WNBA basketball. Now you're going to learn who these women are. You don't send over a rookie who can barely handle the physicality of the WNBA right now and leave a much more qualified basketball player off the Olympics roster so that a bunch of pissed off casuals can have a reason to root for the team. If they can't root for this team because Caitlin Clark's not on it, they don't like women's basketball. What don't you get about that? Like, if you only like Caitlin Clark, if you only care about Caitlin Clark, the game is not going to grow. Everybody keeps saying this isn't going to work. It's not going to help the game grow. It's not going to grow if the only thing they care about is Caitlin Clark. So fuck it. This is the Olympics. You go to win medals. You go to represent the very best of your country. It's not to grow your domestic league. That's usually a byproduct of it. And it's probably going to be a byproduct of it this year too. But you guys are being intentionally obtuse about this just for clicks. There's no way this creator actually believes that it's a bad idea to put Chelsea Gray and Diana Taurasi on the women's national team. shut up.
The whole internet is saying Caitlin Clark being left off the U.S. Olympic roster is the worst decision they've ever made. And I low-key think those people are underselling how bad of a decision this is, how dumb, how mind-boggling this is. Let's start with the domination that is USA women's basketball. They haven't lost a game at the Olympics in 30 years. They could send the G League of the WNBA. I don't know if that exists, but if it does, they could send the G League. They would win gold. Now you may be thinking, oh, it's because she's a rookie. Well, you go back in time and look at the fact that in 2004, Diana Taurasi was a rookie. She made the Olympic team. 2008, we had Candace Parker. She was a rookie and she made the Olympic team. These are two of the biggest college women's basketball players ever in their first years being on the Olympic team. And then Breanna Stewart in 2016, another amazing women's college basketball player. We just named three of the best college women's basketball players ever. In their first years, they were on the team, a guard, a forward, and a forward. Now, for some reason, the USA women's basketball team decided they didn't want to put the most watched women's basketball player ever on their team. A woman who just last night scored 30 points in front of a sold-out crowd at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. There was 20,000 people in attendance for a game between a team that's defeated and the Fever that are like 3-9 or something. It's the first $1 million gate game for the Mystics ever. In that game, Caitlin Clark became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 200 plus points and 50 plus assists. People love the Olympics. Everybody watches the Olympics. Everybody watches Caitlin Clark. And if I was at BC, I would be on the phone with USA Women's Basketball saying, what are you doing? What do you mean Caitlin Clark's not going? No, she's going. We paid hundreds of millions of dollars for the TV rights to this. We're spending hundreds of millions. Caitlin Clark's not. No, she's going. Call somebody up and tell them you're cut. Caitlin's go. What are we doing here? The entire establishment of women's basketball is against Caitlin Clark, and it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't know.
What do you guys think about Caitlin Clark not making the roster? You guys can tell already that our fans are so pissed. There are so many people dragging the WNBA saying they don't know what marketing is. They don't know how to drive people in. They don't want to make more money. Like, they don't want to make more sales. Like, the fact that they did not include Caitlin Clark means that they don't know anything about marketing, because this lady has been the most interesting player in the 28 years of WNBA. And some people are even pissed at that comment. Let me hear what you guys think. What do you think about her not being included in the roster? There are people saying there are so many opportunities in the future. She just needs to work better and she will be there. This is not the end of the Olympics. So why are people making it a big deal? There are some are just saying they're not going to watch it because they did not include Caitlin Clark. This person said, I love Caitlin Clark, but she's not better than a single person on the roster realistically. There are some people already mentioning the people that she's better than on that roster. So another one said the WNBA needs more casual fans than any other sport, especially with the opportunity at hand right now with Caitlin Clark's popularity and her two other counterparts. I think the casuals will boost revenue. So people are focusing more on the revenue part as well, but these people want to win the goal. They want to win it because they have been winning for years. That might not be into consideration right now, and there are some people saying if she's even included, there's no way she's going to start. She's just going to be a bench warmer. Like, why can't you guys just wait for the time where she will be able to even shine more? Can you guys imagine? Another person said Caitlin Clark does not belong on the roster. If they don't watch because she's not on there, we do not need them. Yes. Another person said people defending Caitlin Clark not being on the list have such a lack in understanding business. 70% of any sports consumers are casual watchers. Just a missed opportunity. Another one said the Olympic team was picked way before Clark. That's a solid team. Clark will be on the next one when she grows and matures. And this is one thing that people are not understanding. This other person said no other rookie is on the team. Why should Caitlin Clark be on it? Just because she is Caitlin Clark, DT brings leadership. This shouldn't just be about rating. The people in charge don't get it, don't understand money. And people are just like, they don't understand money, they don't know what marketing is, they don't want large revenue. They don't understand the growth that MJ brought in 92 Olympics. Maybe they don't want to make Angel Reese upset. How is this even about Angel Reese? Like, how? Just find a way to bring this poor girl into this conversation. Let me hear what you guys think. What was your first reaction seeing that she didn't make it to the Olympic roster? What do you think? What was your first reaction? Let's continue this conversation in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next one.